I've been hit and miss with the Polish content coming to Netflix. I've liked most of it and really appreciate that those of us in the US are getting the opportunity to be exposed to an ever-growing amount of films and shows from around the world. All My Friends Are Dead is an action horror and it's now available. So let's talk about it. During a New Year's Eve party with a bunch of friends, a series of crazy events brings out secrets, breaks hearts, and leads to a shocking ending. So the movie opens on New Year's Day, and then it becomes a flashback to show us everything that transpired the night before. A young man, Marek, is throwing a New Year's Eve party with a bunch of friends. There's booze, dancing, food, and probably even a little bit of drugs. Through a series of unfortunate events, you see what I did there, things get out of control and then craziness ensues. While we don't necessarily have a ton of context for all of the friends attending the party, we do get bits and pieces through side conversations. And I like the way the film introduces us to a lot of the characters. It uses Marek giving introductions to a friend of a friend, so it comes across naturally, and also with a little bit of humor. The film starts out like it's going to be a deep mystery, but it's not. We're shown the aftermath right from the beginning. So the only thing the story has left to do is to show us what transpired. So knowing that, the film is a bit pointless. I mean, we watch events unfold already knowing the outcome. Sure, there is some intrigue and wondering as we're introduced to the party because we really don't know what made all of this carnage happen. The setting of the house is good because it's contained, but it's large enough to have multiple things going on simultaneously, which gives us several storylines to follow. We have a couple not really getting along, tensions arising between another couple, guys whose only goal of being at the party seems to be to hook up with someone, and then all of this is made larger than maybe it should be by wild inebriation. I found some of the characters to be fun and interesting, and there were a few who were made to be vapid, and they accomplished that goal perfectly. I mean, the story keeps adding complications to the drama to up the internal drama. Emotions and tensions are building between certain people, and we know that it's just a matter of time before something goes wonky and causes all sorts of problems. In addition to the small amount of intrigue, there is some dark humor that it transpires too. I didn't find it to be laugh out loud funny, but it did make me chuckle lightly a few times. A lot of the situations are obvious and predictable, but there were a few also that caught me off guard. This story relies heavily on a comedy of errors, and it delivers that well. When one bad thing happens, we watch our characters struggle to keep others from knowing, which of course is then going to lead to more trouble, which then leads to even more trouble, and it just keeps compounding until it's all out chaos. This is pretty simple in its execution. There's not a deeper discourse going on, but it does provide some mindless entertainment with a ton of violence. I mean, when we actually get to the climax of the story, all hell breaks loose and it is a wild ride. There's an ongoing sight gag too that I absolutely enjoyed. It involves two guys sitting outside on a bench facing the house. I don't know their names or what's going on with them, but they silently add some good humor when they're on the screen. I look at this as a type of escapist movie, one where you can just turn off your brain and just experience some insanity. You don't have to look for a deeper message or any complex themes. We get to just sit back and enjoy the absurdity. I liken this a little to Free Fire, a movie that I thought was a ton of fun. And once it gets going, you're just along for the ride. I mean, it's the same concept here. This is only 96 minutes and not much of it drags at all. I think there were a couple of small segments that felt a bit long, but for the most part, it moves along efficiently. And I wasn't bored with the story, but I did get a little tired of the shallowness of some of the situations. All in all, this is fun, but it's forgettable. If you want something that is mindless and violent with some dark humor, this one can certainly satisfy. There is a ton of sex, nudity, profanity, and violence. I give All My Friends Are Dead 2.5 out of 5 couches. Do you have a favorite mindless action movie? Let me know what it is in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.